Hey everyone, welcome to our stream. We are just waiting for Edrian to get into his car to come on here because he was at a Starbucks and there's a choir.
Yeah.
He's like, there's like a choir, and I'm like, what? But that's cool. I guess while he's getting here, Marissa, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. We just got out of our writing session that we hold every Tuesday from 11 to 1 on Discord. So if you're watching and you haven't come to write with us, then you guys should.
Yeah, you should come write with us. It's so much better when there's other people. It honestly makes me do work.
It does make me do work because it's just like, it feels like almost like I'm back in like a class.
Yeah. It's like a study session, which is nice, especially when it's just like you make your own time and your own schedule. Sometimes that turns into I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, because it's like let me look at this on the internet.
Right?
Yeah.
Or it's like you start doing other things you do need to do, but not right now.
Yeah.
Like you have the thing that's due now, but you're like, I'm going to do the 10 things that need to be done within this month.
Yeah. I like always go on like, not always, but like I find myself like, oh my gosh, I'm going on a rabbit hole. And that is not what I set out to do today.
I find that I'm very lucky that like I've never been that person. Like I've done it like once or twice, but I've never been that person who goes down like the rabbit hole of like Facebook or TikTok. Like it's fine, but I like know that like it is really easy just to be like, keep going.
As you said, like it's like I know like I need to get this done today, like this is more timely, but then I'll like get distracted. I'm like, well, I do need to do this, but it's not as like urgent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's fine. And you're like, oh, that's not fine. I've just wasted.
Oh, my bad. I didn't get the memo. Actually, I was gonna put my Instagram handle, but then I was like, I'm late. Then I show up here, I'm like,
I copied Marissa. I was like, oh, that's nice.
I'm using my phone too, so I don't know how to change things, but it's okay.
It's okay.
Fine.
I don't care.
You can't even see my full thing anyways, it's fine.
It's like
we were waiting, so we were just saying how we were doing and stuff, and how it's easy when you just set your own hours to do nothing. Or to do things that you don't need to do right now. You just do all the other things.
Yeah.
Like, oh well.
Or to be able to do everything that you need to do in your own timing, you know, which is what we were talking about yesterday, Trixie. You know, it's like I'm tired, but I'm so fulfilled. You know, it's like can't describe that feeling. You know,
I'm just gonna keep messing with my camera.
We're live, everyone.
Hi. Hi.
Welcome to the behind the scenes. I'm just kidding.
Yes, of us talking about being here for 2 years. Edrian, I'm going to put it up to you to facilitate this discussion.
Okay. I'll start. Yeah, because sorry, continue. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was it. I'm just going to have you facilitate.
Okay. Actually, I was thinking maybe I can start it and then we could just kind of like go from there, kind of piggyback if you guys, you know, come up with your own questions. So again, welcome y'all for anyone that's watching. So the reason why I really wanted to get all of us together, thankfully too, right after our writing sessions, which we have every Tuesdays for the most part from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. 1 p.m. Pacific time for any creatives that want to come and write with us. Or, well, for me personally, I'm there to work on my own thing, but to still be involved with a community. So the reason why we're here is because I just remembered that we officially uploaded our first video more or less 2 years ago on YouTube. 2 years ago. So we're basically having our second year live stream. And I'm all here babbling, but thanks for it. Yeah. Okay, so the first question that I have for y'all is as of now, where do you feel like, where are you in the time and space now as we are celebrating our second year as a collective? I'll go first since I asked the question. Yeah, and I was like, okay, the proper ethics, something that for me it's I think I was telling Rich this. Hi, Rich. When I saw him last night, I was like, "Oh, we've already hit 2 years." Then again, it almost feels like because of the pandemic, we literally started we launched right a month before the pandemic, even though we like have been filming and working on content for a few months before then, kind of getting the whole thing started. It almost felt like we literally went through a time warp, like, and I was just really reflecting on like what the collective has gone through, besides, as individuals and the effort, the all the effort that we really put into to making it happen, trying to make things happen even during the pandemic, while also recognizing that, like the times that we're in, it's still very much, you know, um, tender, and it's okay to also take time for yourself, like, and I guess for me the reason why I say that is because as much as I'm really like as much as I'm really proud, excuse me, for all the work that we've done, I've also realized too that like it's okay to like not be okay, and as cliche as that sounds, it's like I guess during days where I'm like, what am I really doing? Like, I mean, I know that I'm doing what I'm doing because it's like my expression, but then during like times of doubts, I'm like, huh, but being with y'all, especially just like in our writing session earlier, that was a clear one of the clear reminders of like, okay, like I'm not so alone in this, like, not just journey, but like this dream that I have for myself to like live my life the way that I feel like I need to live it, so I could, like operate and express in the way that I want to express, versus like, like what everyone says, getting stuck or feeling like you're stuck in a day job or doing something that you're not like, that's not so in line with how you want to be in this world, and yeah, so that's where I'm at. And for anyone that wants to take the mic, you can go next.
You want to go, Trixie?
Okay, I was gonna be like, yeah, Marissa. Okay, I'm gonna go. It feels like we've been a collective longer in the pandemic than we have been together in person. And I don't know if that's actually true, but it feels like it. Um, and obviously that's because, pandemic land moves way slower and faster at the same time, both in the bad ways, right? Both in the bad ways, not in the good way. So I think living in this pandemic time, because we're still in it, is just, it's very interesting. It's really hard, especially as a performing artist, since many of those opportunities went away and many of them did not come back. So it's been interesting in that way for me. I think even through the pandemic, I've more, not like I've more so realized, but how do I just like, I guess it's confirmed again in my mind that like the thing that I want to do first and foremost is perform. And that's fine. And I have so many feelings, but I guess like one of them is that I am very fortunate and I'm very privileged that like I live in a house, like I have a partner like who's supportive, like I don't right now I don't have to hustle for money. I can kind of risk it all and gamble my savings right now. I'm in that place, and that's also true. And as a Filipino, I think that's really hard for me to accept. Like my parents are immigrants. Like they made they made so many sacrifices so that I could be here. So it still feels weird to me, but I'm also like, it's my life though. So having to continually be like, it is your life, like show your gratitude by actually living the life you want so you're happy, not living the life that you think you should live and then just be bitter to like bitter, right? And then like be bitter against everyone. Because I think for me, that's how it really would be. I can't speak for everyone, but I could see like if I didn't do what I wanted to do, I think I would be horribly bitter. And And I think that would make me treat people worse, like especially my family, because I would be resentful towards them. So living the life I want has become me showing my gratitude. And so there's that. And then also like having so many like different things, like being a creative entrepreneur, like having different things to do, having like a small business, and then like reconciling that with like reconciling with capitalism for me is actually really hard. That is very difficult for me. And I think it's difficult for me because like, especially because I do like mental health stuff, like I'm a mental health advocate. So relating that to capitalism is really difficult. My therapist and I talk about it a lot. Like it's really difficult for me. But it's also like really difficult, again, like going back to like being privileged and not having to struggle right now, and thinking about like hustle culture and being like, oh, well, like if people are struggling so much, I should struggle more too. And I'm like, that's dumb, because really the answer is no one should struggle. And it's not like I don't do anything. It's just like that. And I know we've all talked about it before, but like that feeling of like being enough, or what does enough even mean? And like, is this, like basically this perpetuating like suffering that we're putting ourselves through by not thinking that what we're doing is enough. So that's kind of where I am. It's in a very reflective place. I think I'm literally also there because we were just in that writing session, and like mine was like what I was writing about was like going back into my past. So I'm like super reflective. But I'm also really glad that like one, like, and I mean this very literally, I'm so glad that we're all still alive. Like that we're still alive. And that we're here and that we can keep going. And I really love our little writing sessions. I really love them. It's super fun. I love when people like just get to meet other people and like, like I think I really like our collective because it doesn't have to be about us. We're definitely like happy with like, oh, you need this person, talk to this person, or like, just like creating those bridges and stuff. And we're like perfectly happy with that. So like, I really like that. So I'm excited to do more stuff like that with TFFC. And yeah, that's where I am. Now it's your turn, Marissa.
Cool. Well, I think honestly, hearing both of you talk and like about where you're at, I feel like there's like similar themes that have felt. Obviously the past 2 years have looked very different for each of us, but yeah, I mean, I definitely learned in this past 2 years where it's like what's the saying, I want to say it right, basically when you say yes to something, you're also saying no to a bunch of other things. And I decided by quitting my full-time job that basically I was saying yes to a job that I didn't want and saying no to what I actually wanted. So I knew I had to make the jump into freelance, as scary and like stressful as it is financially to go into, getting a paycheck every Friday to, not really knowing when I'm going to get paid next. That's probably the biggest change for me personally in like my own life. And this just happened recently too. But yeah, just like knowing that like truly, like if this time hasn't taught us anything, it's like life is so precious and you never know when things, and when even, not to get morbid again, but like life itself may end, and you just have to, again, try to make the most of it. Of course, like there's going to be, crap that happens and it's out of control, but ultimately it's just like you have to honor yourself and know that, again, there's no such thing as like security, or things are always changing. And I think it's just, of course, like there's a good and bad and everything, but ultimately it's like you have one shot at this life, and like if you're not living it true to yourself, then like I don't know what to tell you. Like it can get really hard. I didn't say that like very eloquently, but that's kind of like what I've learned. But yeah, in terms of like our collective, I think, just to again reiterate, like I do appreciate like our writing sessions. I mean, this is the first 2 that I was able to attend because now I do have a more flexible schedule, which I'm very thankful for. And I like that we're able to provide a space for other creatives who maybe don't have, I'm lucky to have a Trixie and Edrian, whereas some people don't have that. And again, like, just to know that they're not alone, and that, especially like creating in this time, it can be very isolating because you can't, it's still not the most safe thing. Community spaces, at least physically, are not as open and accessible as they once were. And even then, like, I think even before the pandemic, it was kind of just like, where do I find like-minded people? That was still a struggle. So I'm happy that we can provide that for others, and of course, like, continue cultivating it for ourselves. Like, it was like, I think of it like, yeah, it is crazy that we started this 2 years ago, just us three. And I think in the back of our mind, like, where we are now is like, we always wanted it to be, what it is now, to make it not just for us but for other people. So I'm happy that we're doing that, in spite of the state of the world and everything. Yeah. So I think yeah, I think I'm also in like a very reflective place. I think with the past 2 years, like 2020 and 2021 just felt like one very long year. And I'm not saying, like, obviously we're still the pandemic, but like, I think for me, I'm like, I want to make, at least for myself, feel like there's at least a little bit of like change. And obviously it is really more of an internal thing, because it's like, I can't control the external world, but I can at least control like how I go about my day or how I think about things. So yeah, I'm happy to be here with you guys. It's been a wild ride so far, and I just feel like we're just gonna keep going. No matter what the world throws at us, we're gonna keep going.
Yeah, stronger than ever in this state of world. I just combined both of y'all's like word that I'm like, okay, she said this, she said this. I'm gonna combine this, y'all. Y'all bear with me being like the spontaneous host for today's live stream. Okay, so actually while y'all were sharing your very, very reflective and beautiful sentiments of like, wow, where is this coming from? Like experiences of our time so far as a collective. I'm curious. What is, I guess, I don't think it has to be a favorite, but maybe one like standout, memorable memory that we've like gone through, that we've done so far. Whether that yes, let's just pretend that made sense. Does anyone want to answer? Sorry, I'm in a clearly I'm in a car, and
I
then
will,
just like this guy over here. I'm like.
I will go. I don't actually have anything yet, so let me start to speak. No, I do have things. Okay. Okay, this is the thing, because I can't pick one. I want to say, how do I even put this? I don't have a favorite moment. This is more of like, I'm like, this is really funny because now I'm like becoming, my brain is like going back, in time and being like, oh, you guys were circle jerking again. And remember when we taught Adrian what circle jerk meant? like, which is fine. It's great. This is our own channel, so we can say whatever we want about ourselves. But this is a circle jerky moment, but like, honestly, like, one of my favorite things is like the fact that we did like film scene recreations, that we actually did it. So like, I'm going to say, like, with one of my favorite things was the first time we just like filmed the Good Place scene recreation at Marissa's, and it's just like cold outside in December. We're just in her front with like lights, and we're just like there, and it's just like, it was so cold, but it was just like, no, we're doing this because we said we would do this, and we did, and it was great, and it was super fun, and the result was beautiful. God, Marissa, beautiful. It looks beautiful. Everyone go look at it. And I think I'm just gonna go with that, because it's like literally when we were like, no, yes, we're doing it, and we didn't make an excuse, and we literally just did it. So we did it before the holidays. So yeah, that's mine. I'm going to Marissa.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think honestly, my answer is basically the same. Like, I definitely think fondly of like not only like the final product of our scene recreations, but like just like the onset thing when it's just like us, or like I know Lorraine was there for a couple of them, and then like we just did it, and Rich was there acting in one of them. Yeah, because I mean that's kind of like my love. Like I love being on set. I love like the process, right? And you're right, like Trixie, like we did this before we even thought, knew it was going to be a thing. Like we definitely could have just did these things and like weren't feeling it and then like, left it there. But like, no, we're very proud. And like, I think even though it was only 3, it was enough of like a body of work for people to recognize like, oh, they actually do stuff. They're actually doing what they said they're doing. And I think, and I guess maybe this is just extended from there, but like from there, I think we did make kind of a name for ourselves. Like, I know SCFC has helped, bolster us up. But, when people visit our Instagram or our YouTube, it's like, oh, they can see that like, oh, they actually are out there making stuff. And like, even though it, again, our time got short in terms of like producing things together, at least, in beginning of 2020, at least again, people recognize us as again a collective, and not just like, oh, they don't really do anything. Like, no, we've done stuff, and it's just like I'm very proud of that. And like, again, I know we will. I look forward to when we get to make things again together. Yeah.
Okay, I guess it is me, and there are several, but I think it all goes back to the photo shoot. The photo shoot. I wouldn't say that's like a favorite, but that's the one that like stood most favorite, but that's the one that was the most memorable for me. And also actually before I say the second one, because I remember being tired from my work, and think I think I was still working. No, just kidding. No, I actually had just like Marissa now, had just left my full-time day job then. So I was like in this kind of bubble of like, oh my gosh, I'm free, but still tired. But like looking at the photos that we did, I guess on the outside versus like what I experienced on the inside of kind of how sleepy I was. I remember y'all were trying to wake me up. To get the shoot done. And I guess that also goes back to what Marissa was saying about like us cultivating like what we said we would do, and I guess just also looking back at like at our sets, like each one became progressively more kind of I guess organized, because I remember the first one, it was scrappy as hell. Not you, Marissa. I'm talking like I remember Trixie and I carpooled together, and like I had a flashback of eating like McDonald's because like not having dinner, and then like our stuff like in Trixie's car was like super like all over the place. Wait, no, no, Trixie, I gave you the McDonald's. You were the hungry one. She was the hungry one. She was like, "Hey, do you have any food?" And I was like, "I have one more burger left," and we didn't have time to like grab food because we knew we needed to be on set, to film. So, yeah, scrappy as hell, very DIY, but like looking back at like the final product, it's like you would have never guessed, that that's what our set was like, and that also, we're able to like deliver, and I was telling Trixie excuse me, yesterday that I'm so proud, super super proud to be able to like use the our final like products as like part of my reel. I'm like, it looks so good. So thank you guys for those for the memories. No, I'm just kidding, for the memories. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Or I mean I could think of some
I
more,
just
but
want to add I do have a question, but I want to add on to that. Like, it's so funny because we do all have real stuff, and I just want to say Marissa made like all our crappy outdoor light like it's just like outside our houses like looks so good, but it's like we're just like oh shit, like we're just outside so that we don't bother the people inside.
yeah.
And
Or the
looks so
neighbors,
good.
Marissa's neighbors. I
Yeah.
remember they were partying too. They were having
Yeah.
karaoke, right?
Oh yeah, one of my karaoke neighbors. No,
Yeah.
I mean that's also another point I want to speak to. Like the Film Collective helped me realize that, like, oh my god, I'm a cinematographer. Like, that's what I'm
Yes.
doing. Because, like,
So beautiful.
not that I don't think I can write and direct anymore, but like, I know, like, in my heart, that's what was like pulling me towards, and like, the Film Collective was definitely,
Yeah.
you know, part of that like realization and like coming to terms, like, no, this is what you actually want to do, and like, it's okay to admit that, even though you didn't do it in film school, like, you can change your mind, like, and do it now.
Yeah, because and I remember because I remember when we were filming the Rocky one. Remember when like Rich kept having that shadow?
Yeah, the no shadow.
And it was like, she was just like, I need to fix it. Just like, but everything like looked so beautiful. I was just like, we're in this like crappy, not lit outside area. Like everything looked so good.
I'm just
And that's so cool.
pretty. It's my job.
You're so good at it. It's just like, you know, we just like have our crap. Like we're using our own crap. So it just like looks so good. It was so cool. And I am really excited. And we are going to start up again. Hopefully we're going to do our first film recreation in March. That is what we're aiming for. It's going to be Revolutionary Road. It's going to be a creation from Revolutionary Road. That's going to be our first thing. And I also want to say, like, we're restarting, like, Let's Make a Scene. And then we have Marissa
behind the scene.
And we're doing those things so we have like other projects to do, but we're also trying to make it sustainable for ourselves, which I feel like that's also just part of the journey that I think is really, again, this is just a circle jerk talk, I think is really nice with what we do. Like, we try things, and if they don't work out, we'll like drop them for a while until we figure out how to make it work, and then we'll pick it up again. Like, we don't go, oh, this isn't working, and we quit. We go, okay, well, we'll try to figure it out. We'll just try it again. And then we do that until like it works. And I honestly think that's great because it's so easy, you know, especially like as artists, like you guys know, it's easy to just like basically rage quit.
Yeah.
Oh,
something and just like
that's the term. Okay.
You should rage quit. You're like, I don't like this anymore. Like, I don't want to figure this out. And it's just like, and you stop. And, you know, especially like during pandemic times, that's of course super easy and understandable too. Where it's just like, all your energy, you know, what extra energy? Like, even if you're not doing anything, like, what extra energy are you talking about? Like, we're in a pandemic. Everything's really weird. So I'm glad that we're doing that. And then, like, that's kind of our attitude towards things. It's just like, we'll just do it again when we can. It's not a big deal. Because I think otherwise, like, I don't know how sustainable, like, this would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really like that. Okay, so here is my question, I guess. We're all saying it, so choose a different one, everyone. What is one, well, okay, here, let me shape it this way. What is one lesson you've learned through being in a collective?
I'll go. I think for me, the first thing that came to mind was that I can actually do it, like in terms of like operate and be an individual artist myself, and that actually took me a while to that actually took me a while to like get comfortable saying. Is like, I'm an artist. I'm an artist. Like, even when I didn't want to admit it, I was operating like one, you know. So that, and then also to that I can actually operate in a collective, because which is actually one of my next questions, is like the fact that I said yes, and you know, thanks to Trixie, which I forgot to like mention in the beginning, you know, the Filam Film Collective was really like born out of Trixie's rage desire to do scene recreations, and Marissa and I just happened to, you know, be in the YouTube space, and like I remember she kept like asking us about it, and of course we were like, we'll see if we can make it happen, right? That's why we made sure to point out that even though things were not necessarily the most glamorous on set or process wise, that we just made sure to get it done, because if it didn't happen, the filming did not happen, I think we all knew where it would have eventually ended up at, you know. So so I guess those two things, I think being able to like operate as an individual while also operating in a collective and also operating in a collective itself. Yeah. Coexisting. Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
See, it's I guess it's something that I believe, and I guess I have learned, but like it's more of like an in practice thing. So what I feel like the collective has learned and like put in practice is like creativity thrives within constraints, because like we have a lot of constraints, you know, with, you know, being able to schedule everybody, obviously, well, now with, and even before, you know, when we did our scene recreations, just knowing that like we had this amount of time, we were at someone's house, so like obviously couldn't go so long. And also it's like, you know, we have one light and the camera and some audio gear, like that's it. But we can create things that look really good and performance wise do very well. And you know, going back to like what Adrian said, like I also send film collective stuff, like if I need like an example for like, oh yeah, I can do scripted content, like this is a scene rec, but like I can shoot it. So knowing that, like, again, you know, of course planning is important, but there's only so much planning you can do. What's important is that you actually go out and do it. And I know this is like a common theme with us. It's just like, okay, if you're saying you're gonna do something, like you just do it. Like stop planning, stop over analyzing all the things that could go wrong or whatever, but like you just gotta do it. And you know, I think also part of the constraints is like knowing each other's strengths and also weaknesses, like learning about, obviously it's us three, but yeah, working with those, because I think that's also something that's super important with filmmaking, is that like not everyone knows, you know, everything about everything. You know, why would you? Also, that it wouldn't be fun. And so being able to lean on each other and also ask for help when it's like, I don't really know how to do this, or I'm kind of stuck here, I think that's also an important thing too that I've learned in the collective. PXC.
Yay. I want to say it kind of goes along, or I guess like maybe is the next thought of what you're talking about, Marissa. Like I feel like I've learned that you don't have to be the same people to be a collective. Like we have similarities, like obviously, like being Filipino, but like, you know, like we have our similarities, but I actually also think as artists, we're super different. Like the three of us are super different. And that like ranges from like how we process things mentally to like our interests. Like it's a wide range. And so I think it was cool to learn like we all can work together. It's just gonna be work. Cause like we're also friends too. And then that also like has an effect on how we work too. And like all these things are possible. You just literally have to be willing to put in the work and willing to like talk. And I think that's really like that's a good lesson to learn and a good thing to know, because I feel like I don't know where I got this. I don't know where I got the sentiment of like you need people who work like you. Like, and like I do think yes to a certain extent. Like, yeah, you need people who will finish things, like to work with you, you know, who can and will like commit themselves basically. But I feel like it's very general and like that, where it's just like really you need people who are willing to commit. But like I feel like there is a lot of room to grow and like connect. And also like I've kind of like learned through this process with being in this collective and then other collectives too, like you can create like whatever environment you want. Like we don't have to be, you know, we don't have to be like Wong Fu Productions, obviously, you know, like we're never going to be them. They're them. Like we are us. And I think taking that pressure off yourselves, of I guess of ourselves, to just be like what we are and let ourselves grow at the rate we grow is a good thing. Like at least for us and our personalities, because like even though all of us like work and we do a lot of stuff, we're also not like we're gonna just now. like there is a little of that in all of us, but it's not like if we don't do this now, it is the end of the world. Like we don't have that kind of energy, and I honestly don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that kind of energy. It's just like not us. But like I think it's really like good when we realize that and like always refocus there, that like we are us, and we have to make this collective work with how we are, and like with the people that we bring in, and like what's important. And I think of like STFC all the time with like Benito saying he's like, the most important thing is that we're hospitable and kind to everyone. Like that is the thing we want to share. And I'm like, yeah, that is super important, because it does shape the way you bring in people to work with you, and it does shape who comes and works with you. Because like I'm into being inclusive and stuff like that. But if one of you told me like I would believe you if one of you guys said like, I worked with this person and it was really unenjoyable because like they didn't want to work hard. Like it was hard. We could give them a chance, but like, like we trust each other to also like help filter, but it also will like happen naturally with like how we are, because like if we were in that writing room that we were in, if someone just like kept talking over someone, obviously everyone, you know what I mean? Like even the vibe will help filter and just be like, yo, that's not what's happening here. Like this isn't what we're doing. So that's nice. And I think I've now just am rambling. So I will stop.
It's all good. So I will gracefully, no, just kidding. The next question that came to mind actually is a fun question. So as a collective, we're clearly, at least for now, or we did start with 3 people. I'm kind of curious to see like what, when it comes to the other members of the collective, like what is the one thing that you, I guess, appreciate about the individual and why? And I'll go first in this case. So I'm gonna go with Marissa since she's in the middle. What I've really, because Marissa and I started our friendship through YouTube. We met, well, technically through her the film festival that she did. Kind of that route, and then just kind of seeing how we've also not just transitioned, but also I guess took our friendship, but also like our artist collaborative relationship into this collective. I've really appreciated how just how she delivers, because I know that our baby girl over here has gone through a lot, as so have we, but at the same time it's like I think there's something to be said about like showing up to the work that showing up to the work, even when you don't feel like you don't want to be, well, for me personally speaking, even if I'm like, oh, can I do it? Am I actually gonna be able to do it? And the fact that she does it like super high quality, okay, Hollywood, so that is the thing that I appreciate about our friend over here in the middle. And then all the way to the very end, Trixie, like Trixie and I forget sometimes, like we've known each other for like 10 years now. Trixie, probably longer. I forget, but just kind of thinking about our overarching, journey getting to the collective over here. It's like she's Mama Bear, even though I've never really like, and I still really don't look at Trixie as someone that's like, oh, she's older than me, and I have to like, look at her in a sisterly manner. But when I take the time to, I'm like, yeah, you've actually really come through a lot during our challenging times for me and also as a group too. So you really have that like mama bear energy, and you're you, what's the word I'm looking for? You basically protect us, basically. I was gonna say in Tagalog, but then I was like, oh, that's not gonna make sense. so that is it. Oh, Pranka is, oh, you're very transparent. Very good. That's what that you are very, oh, not just transparent. Sorry, my voice got loud. But I've also learned setting boundaries, learning, like saying what you mean and meaning what you say. There you go. I've definitely learned that and super appreciate that about you. So that is me in my segment.
Okay, I'll go
Damn
next.
it!
Yeah. I'll go next. I'll start with Trixie, even though we just talked about Trixie, but we'll continue talking about Trixie. Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way in like as Adrian does. Like Trixie is like she's the ate of the group, like, and she is the big brain behind the Film Collective. Like, even though we're all founding members, like we wouldn't be here without Trixie. And she keeps us going. Like, I feel like she keeps us like, as we said, we are flexible with each other. Like, we all are working on our own things and our own careers and like obviously our own lives. But when we come back together, she's always the one to kind of get us in line and you know, talk about what are we going to do next. And you know, whether she wants the title or not, like she is basically like executive producer of the Film Collective. Like any of our scene recs wouldn't happen because not that I can't organize or not that me and Adrian can't, but like Trixie's very like, we're gonna be here, that, and you need that. You need that kind of energy and like organization and assertiveness too to make things happen, which I admire and wish I had more myself. So thank you to Trixie for being the executive producer of our lives. Adrian, what I appreciate about Adrian, yeah, like he is the dreamer of the group. He like just always has like ideas, and I appreciate that he's always like a very good collaborator. I always like push for him to go for his vision because like I know sometimes he like no, you know, I know you sometimes shy away from your own artistry, but I'm like no, I want you to do your thing. And I appreciate that you know what you want and you know what you're looking for, both when you're, you know, in front of the camera and behind it. So that's what I appreciate you. And you just bring kind of a lightness to it all too.
Okay, it is my turn. I will also just come back and start with Adrian too. We talked about Adrian. It just does make sense, huh? For some reason, it's like, yeah, let me just piggyback and go the other way. I actually appreciate Adrian for like the same reasons, like being a dreamer is such a big thing. And I feel like what I appreciate about Adrian, and he's always just like, yeah, like we can do this, and this is like what it is, and he's always so like I feel like I am pushed by you because you always put yourself out there. And it's not that I don't think I put myself out there, but I don't do it as much as I should. And I just, you know, and we are all introverts, so we knew that. But I also like know that about myself, that like, even though I can be really extroverted and blah, 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 like really like sometimes when push comes to shove, I revert to the back. And like, because I'm very comfortable being there, but that doesn't necessarily get us what we want, especially if I want to be a performer. It's just like, you can't do that. That is not great. So I really do appreciate that. I appreciate like you and dreaming and like you having your journey and being like, yes, we can do this, and like always put it out there and stuff. Because I do need that energy. Because I just don't have it naturally myself, like not at all. Like I'm very much like the opposite, where I'm like, oh, it's gonna go to shit. Or I'm not like a pessimist, but I'm definitely like a straight up realist. So like I really do appreciate that kind of energy. And like I think it does a lot to like not just our collective, but just like to people around to have that energy. And have like someone who is like that and always like a cheerleader, and it's just like, yeah, you can do it, of course, like what, why not? And it just being like that is really nice. And I know like I don't know how to put this, like I know you do it for yourself too, and I think that's great and super smart, because we all need to learn how to be our own cheerleaders. But I don't think you understand how much of an effect it actually has on other people and how they see themselves as well. So that. And now Marissa. Okay, so it's so funny because when I look back at Marissa, like I was like intimidated, and I was just like, oh, dude, her shit is so good. Like it's okay. This is what I love about Marissa. Like Marissa's like quality is so fucking good, but this girl is like so like down to earth. She's down to earth, but she also like knows she can do things. Like I really appreciate and I really revere like that quiet strength about you, like the not needing to be like to brag because you just know you have it. And I know we all have our insecurities and stuff like that. But like I love when I see those moments though, like when I see you interact with certain people, and like you get kind of like because like you're like, okay, this is bullshit, but okay. And, and like the fact that you have like that strength and then you produce the things you do is always so great for me. Like especially like as a woman, like I love seeing it. It's so good. Every time you do your thing, and it's so I also love like watching like you grow and like your journey too, because like I feel like you do way more than you think you can do. And the thing is like it's been so cool to like watch you like win like the thing with Sony and like creators online and stuff like that. And it's just like it is a big thing. I'm like, yeah, Marissa beat out everyone. She beat out, you know what I mean? Like super proud, and it's so cool. And like what's cool to me and what I'm really excited about for you is because this kind of like is really the first push in like, you are freelance now. You have more time to like go for what you want. So I'm really excited in that if you were this good while you were only had like your foot in or your like toe in, like think about how amazing you're going to be when you're all in. Like that's insane. And so like I really appreciate that I get to watch this journey unfold because it's going to be so cool. Like it's going to be so cool to watch. So yeah. That's mine. Sickle jerk.
We're gonna cry here.
It's not a circle. It's more like a grid jerk, or like the Brady Bunch.
What?
We're the grid. Today's a grid jerk. Do y'all have any questions or anything you want to say? Because I have one more. Just let me know.
Go ahead. I don't have any. I'm just I'm so touched because I'm just ooh.
I know. It's like I'm getting hot. Hot flashes. Blushing, hot blushing. I guess my final question is actually it's perfect to like wrap up our kind of grid circle journey that we've done to celebrate our 2nd-year anniversary. Thank you guys. Thank you all for being here, whether you're watching live or on replay. Okay, Lingo, or on replay. I guess the last question that I have, I think it's a 2-part question. The first one is what is the thing that you're excited for in terms of I guess a collective, right? Or maybe even as an individual operating in a collective that you are looking forward to. And also if there's if there's any one that you want to say thank you as well. And I'm gonna go start. So for me, going back to the question earlier the thing where Marissa said earlier that she realized, like, seeing her realize that she is more so of a cinematographer now, I've kind of come to realize, and I know I had this conversation with Trixie, that I like being in this collective. I realized that I really want to be in front of the camera, not only because I feel like it is in me to put myself in different hats of experiences and different stories that I really have come to realize that I'm passionate to be and do, and also to, oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. No, I lost my train of thought. I guess that really is yeah for me too. Like I really want to be in front of the camera because like what also Trixie said about like me putting myself out there. I've learned that like me being the face of like the message that I want to say, like it has to be that way. Like I have to embody what I'm trying to say, which is to like, hey, you can be you as long as you're not harming anyone and like put your best foot forward out there. And I think that's important. And as my thanks. I really want to say thank you to, clearly all of you guys, all of y'all, the collective, Trixie for really pushing us, really championing for this collective to come through. Even though at the time I was like, I think, I think when you first asked me, I think I said no. I yeah, I believe I said no because I was
No,
scared.
you were like, ask me like
Oh, like months
in
later.
like 6 months.
Yes, yeah.
And then you walked out the door.
I was scared. Like, I mean, I'm still very much that same timid person, but like being in this collective, I'm just gonna come to like learn that the more I do something, the more I realize I'm like, I mean, I can be scared, and then also I'm like, oh, I've done it, so it'll be okay. And also to SDFC, because I remember when we first started our collective, they were like the Filam Film Collective. I was like, huh? And then lastly to our friends, our community family that we've like cultivated and made within the 2 years that we've been together. So that's it for me. Whoever wants to go, Marissa, go ahead since you're in the middle.
Yes. I'm excited for us to just be making things again, scene racks, short scenes, whatever they may be. Potentially collaborating with others. Those people who do come to our writing sessions, and there's other people in the community that we've met as a collective or even just individually, and just obviously expanding the collective beyond just us. Yeah, I mean, my thank yous are pretty much the same as Adrian's. Thank you to SCFC. They've believed in us from the beginning. Yeah, thank you to anyone who's like watched our stuff, come, to any of our writing sessions or other events. Our friends who support us. And obviously, thank you to Edrian and Trixie, because without them, I wouldn't be here. That's it.
I would like to thank no one. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I will start with what I'm excited for, which is one, to get back into producing scene recreations, and just collaborate. I'm really excited to be collaborating more with other people, because as much as like I joke around, like, and we are circle jerking ourselves, but like the thing about like us is like we do like learning from other people and working with other people, because that's how we grow. And we never want to be like that is a group that just like stops growing because we like our own poop. We like the smell of our own poop. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm really excited to work with other people and bring more people into the collective, because like it's the Filipino American like film collective. Like, I am excited to grow our community, and just like support and know other people and like have that community feeling, because it is hard to have. Like, that is, if you want to be in a community and you want that, you actually have to work for that. Like, even if it's whether you're a person who starts a collective or even whether you're just a participating community member, because to participate means you have to come and participate. So I'm really excited to really grow that aspect of who we are. And I'm really excited to see how far we can go, like working with each other and just making those new connections and being that actual community. I think that's really exciting. And yeah, thank you to the same people. Yeah, like Emma and Benita, what the crap? They were so hyped about us before like we even knew what the crap we were doing. Like, we're like, yeah, we are the Film Collective. No, sorry, that's my dog.
Yes, Lily agrees. Hi,
Going.
Lily.
Okay, so thank you to them. Thank you to Rich. Rich, honestly, you'll probably watch this at some point. If you don't, I'm not even going to be mad, because he has watched so much of my stuff. He watches so much of my stuff. He always just like, also when we do like, when we need someone like last second or something for like, let's make a scene, he's always there. Like, Rich, if we need help, he's just like, yeah, if I'm free, I'll do it. And then he does it, like no questions asked, and he's just always there. So like,
Rich, we're
He's
sorry
the
for
other
cutting you out of the picture.
Yes! I was gonna say that. Do you guys remember our very first season where Rich was like the eliminated model from the
Yes.
fade out photo?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah, he's just like super cut out. You're like, okay, that's
and
his
he was actually
shoulder.
butthurt about it. My bad.
But yes, so thank you to Rich for like super, like what a freaking big support. So really thank you to you. And thank you to everyone who supports us and watches. And obviously thank you to Edrian and Marissa. Like having a collective is so cool, and having like I really appreciate, and I really, oh my god, I can't think of the word because I just keep thinking precious. I can't think of it. So it's really precious to me to have an artistic outlet to experiment and grow with other artists. Like that is something I hold so dear. And so like thank you for doing this with me, because I don't know, I think maybe I could do it alone, but I hella would have never wanted to. Like that's not like the point. Like I want to be with other people. So thank you for taking on this endeavor. And yeah, yay. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yay, y'all, we made it to the end of our don't mute yourselves. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
With the dog barking.
Oh, was it? I'm just kidding. Hey, y'all, fam, TFFC family, TFFC family, the Filam Film Collective, not the Filipino channel, nor the Filam Creative. I'm just kidding. We are, and y'all feel free to like chime in, but we are super thankful for just this, and I think this live stream, actually perfectly encapsulates, oh, big word today, definitely encapsulated our journey thus far, where we want to go, the impact that we dreamed and wanted to make, but are slowly but surely making. We're super thankful for you guys, and we're excited to keep you on our journey as we move forward, y'all.
I just want to say and add, like, please, like, come talk to us. Like, we're just like this. The only difference is I curse a lot more. That is the only difference.
Yeah,
like,
welcome to our meetings.
It's just us, and we're just talking, and we're always down to, like, talk to people. So you can, like, DM us on Instagram, like, as the group, the Filam Film Collective, or, like, us, like, as individuals. Like, we're always down to help whoever, like, and work with whoever. Like, if you want to work, like, let's do it. Let's super do it. That's it. That's my ad.
Wait, hold on. I also Charles too. Like he just popped up in my mind. Charles Kapatid, our other friend in LA, who also really in the beginning, since the beginning, have championed for us. Especially being someone that is a working professional in Hollywood. So thank you, people like Charles. So yeah. I think that is it, y'all. Thank you, guys. Trixie, you're controlling the live. Yes, you are, Trixie.
I've been waiting for you to say a sign off or something. I was like, oh, what is
okay, wait, I'll have it, okay. And this has been the end of our second year live stream, and we are the Filam Film Collective, because nobody wanted to say it. No, I'm just kidding. And that is it for the episode. Okay.
Bye.
Oh my god, that broadcast.